presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Jaguars great Fred Taylor will break down today's game with highlights and analysis. Jaguars Postgame is brought to you by Farah and Farah, Baptist Health, and by TIAA Bank. Jaguars Postgame, presented by Florida Home AC, starts right now.
And welcome in. It's Jaguars Postgame. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. Final score, Seahawks 31, Jaguars 7. The Jags are now 1-6. The Seahawks improved to 3-5 on the season. Fred Taylor on the phone line with us from South Florida, and this just didn't feel good from the start. Penalties all day long. The offense struggled to do much of anything. The defense couldn't slow down Geno Smith in the short passing game, and Lockett had the fifth best day of his career in terms of yardage. Fred, it was an all-around just bad day.
JP, Mike, how's it going, guys?
Hey,
definitely agree with you, JP, man. I don't know, just still maybe a slight hangover from, the victory 2 weeks ago. This game was certainly sloppy. Way too many penalties, a lot of unnecessary, undisciplined things out there today. The 12 men on the field back to back, 12 men in the huddle. Offensively, we've seen this each and every week, and at some point it has to go away if you're going to build to be a better team. So, but it starts with the coaches. I know the players have to go out there, execute, perform, but on the other side, getting the plays in late, barely getting the playoff. That's top down. That's the coaches. So everybody has to be held accountable and should go look at that. And once they iron that out, hopefully they can get on track to getting another win at some point.
Yeah, Fred, it certainly didn't look like they had an extra week to prepare for this game. And, I got to ask you, what is more disheartening? Is it the sloppy mistakes that they made today, or the fact that they made Geno Smith look like he was an all-pro quarterback?
For me, Mike, it's just the sloppy mistakes. Geno's not a bad player. He's an NFL quarterback. I mean, guys are going to have good days and they're going to be on. But this team, they have to have tighter coverage. They have to have less mistakes. They have to be less sloppy. Today was just a sloppy game for me. The penalties seemed uncareless. They got a few bad roughing calls, I think. But otherwise, on the other side, they still had penalties on both sides, too many penalties. And I don't know. That's just lack of effort, lack of hustle most times when you get the penalties. And, this is what happens. You get blown out.
Fred Taylor, Mike Dempsey, I'm JP Shadrick. It's Jaguars postgame. We'll have the first word with head coach Urban Meyer coming up in just a few moments after the Jaguars' loss in Seattle, 31-7 the final score. The Jags are now 0-4 all-time in Seattle. They lost there in 01, 24-15. They lost there in 09, 41-0. They lost in 13, 45-17, and today 31-7. And as you said, I mean, the ones the penalties, there's plenty of them to dissect here. 12 penalties, 93 yards against the Jags today. But, Fred, there was the 12 men on defense penalty. And then
almost back to back.
And before the next snap, they still had 12 guys out there and had to call a timeout. I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, usually, there's a guy, a spotter on the sideline. I don't know, under his staff. I don't know who that guy is, or even if they have one. A lot of times it's one player on the field, right? But to see that back to back, I've never seen it before in my entire, however many years I've been following the NFL, and as a player either. To be able to get 12 men back to back after calling, then you have to you get a penalty and then you have to waste the timeout. Pretty much like the beginning of the year. The same thing with having 12 guys in the huddle on offense. I mean, at some point, like, these are small things that has to go away. If you want to be a good team, because you're losing yardage unnecessarily. So, JP, man, you got to hold the coaches accountable for a lot of that.
Fred, offensively, this team didn't really take any shots down the field. They don't have a field stretcher, but that's going to be an issue because there are a lot more games still to play this season. And on top of that, they lose their most effective offensive weapon in James Robinson early in this game. Let's hope that that's not a long-term thing. But, Fred, where do you turn for answers to score some points on this offense right now?
Mike, the only disagreement I have right there is not going to be a problem. It is a problem now, immediately. They're not forcing the issue. You got to try to play the 50-50 ball. I mean, you have to throw some deep balls. Otherwise, teams are going to man you up, squat on you. They're not going to worry about you getting deep. You're going to force the coordinators on the other side to blitz you because they know you're just going to dump it and check it down. You're not even going to try to take a shot. And in turn, you're not going to have any opportunities to flip the field, right? So you're not going to put any points on the board. So now is why they're having problems. I understand Chark isn't there. They're saying we don't have anybody stretch the field. And I'm a firm believer in if they can run, they can get deep. Just throw the freaking ball, and hopefully somebody will come down and make a play or either you get a penalty. Teams around the league, they do it all the time. So there's no excuse for not throwing the ball deep. They just have to get the coordinator on the same page to force that issue and tell the quarterback, hey, don't worry, just chunk it. I mean, we're 1-6 now. So throw the ball, man, and hopefully something good will happen.
Let's take our first time out. We're still awaiting the first word with head coach Urban Meyer after a Jaguars loss in Seattle, 31-7, the final score at Lumen Field today. Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jaguars. And this is Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Committed to the team, committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor. Jaguars fall today in Seattle. Final score 31-7. The Jaguars actually outgained Seattle today, 309-229. A lot of that was just yardage late in the game. 10-play drive, turnover on downs in the second half, 8 plays and a punt, the touchdown drive, and a lot of that was when the game was already obviously a three-possession ball game at 24-0. It ends up 31-7 today. The Jaguars avoid a shutout with that late touchdown, and it would have their last shutout loss was back in Week 5 of 2009. That was at Seattle as well. They avoided that with the late score today. Now, the offense struggled early in the game, Fred, with punt, a 3-and-out, the Trevor Lawrence interception, deep left, blanked in the first half of this game and just couldn't find anything really at all to keep going. And, Agnew stopped on a route at one point on a third down play. Trevor's interception on the throw downfield just didn't seem in sync at all offensively today.
Not at all, JP. Like you said, it started punt, interception, turnover on downs, and then halftime. You come back out there again. You had, 0 for 4 on fourth downs?
Yeah.
A couple sacks out there. The Seahawks had some decent pressure on him. Nothing crazy, but, had some decent pressure. I think the O-line can find a way to play a bit better, give them an opportunity to let some stuff develop downfield. But these guys, I think the big thing is making sure your third down package is efficient enough where you're in third and medium for the most part, at least in the first half. It was third and 5, third and 9 was the only third and long. The rest were third and short or third and medium. You have to find some plays to execute that, to extend those drives. But they're not doing anything really good right now. And your best weapon, as you mentioned, he was injured earlier in the game. Not sure if that would have made a big difference, but this is just a struggling unit, and they're going to continue to struggle for a while.
So, Fred, you thought the offensive line was what today? Kind of okay, average, or what?
I would say okay. That's for me. That's just. Let me say this, Mike. I'm sorry. I'll say they were below average. I didn't think they played great up front. Trevor was running around. You had guys loose all across the board, not just Carlos Dunlap. You had the batted balls, and from what I've been around and what I've seen, typically if you have batted balls, that means the linemen are standing up. So the defensive guys are standing up. So if you're squatted with your seat and your trunk, your butt down in a nice pass blocking position, the defender, he's going to get down with you because NFL is low man win. So low man is the leveraged man. But if you're standing up and your knees aren't bent, the guy on the opposing side, he's going to be upright too. And when the quarterback cocks back and throws the ball, it's a simple, half foot, 2 foot jump to bat the balls down. I believe it was 4 or 5 batted balls today. So these guys, they just got to get better at bending their knees, tucking in, maintaining leverage, and protecting the quarterback, and not allowing the free runners to, get him off his pocket, scramble around, because I thought he wasn't set up for a lot of the throws he attempted today.
In the receiving game today, Dan Arnold, when they did get it out, Arnold had 8 catches for 68 yards. Hyde had 6 out of the backfield today for 40 yards. Agnew, they almost forced the ball to Agnew today. It felt like 12 targets, 6 catches for Agnew, Mike, in this game today.
Yeah, I thought Fred, Agnew, as JP said, was the focal point of this passing game. 12 targets, only 4 targets for Laviska Shenault. Is this, I don't know if it's, we don't see practice. We don't know what Laviska's doing right or not doing right, but are they utilizing him improperly, or should they be finding ways to force the ball into his hands a little bit more? I know everybody's enamored with Agnew right now and how he is coming on as a receiver, but I feel like, this is the second time in 3 weeks where I felt like I had to ask at halftime if Laviska was even on the field in the first half.
Right.
I'll take any questions.
Do you have any update on James Robinson?
Yeah, it's a bruised heel. He's going to get looked at tomorrow when we get back. I don't know the depth of it.
Just your overall assessment.
We're just disappointed. Obviously, we've got to play better. We've got to prepare better, and I didn't see that coming. I saw a good week of practice, and guys freshened up from a bye week, and you got down 14-0, and we got out of we're not built to just be a throw team, and we got out of the run game, and then the penalties were nonsense. I don't know if it was a noise or what was the problem, but we just got to get that corrected.
Sloppiness, sort of like week one, not even able to get
back. I felt like every week we made great strides. The team got better and better and better, and today was a step back. We tried to build on the momentum of the win because we played pretty decent in London, and offensively, Trevor had one of his better games, and offensively we played better, defensively played better, and just went backwards. I did the positive. We held them to 60-some yards second half, had 3 sacks. Our defense kept swinging. It just placed in a horrendous field position, but defense hung in there. Against some talented receivers and talented players.
Trevor take maybe not a step back, but really struggled today?
Yeah, I don't, I'll give you more next week after I watch the film, but, when quarterbacks have a great day, the players around them play great, and when I can think of a couple drops off the top of my head and some accuracy issues, but we're a team. We do everything together, so we'll come back next week swinging hard.
Those drops early kind of just throw everything out of whack.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the environment. I don't know. It didn't seem like offensively we're out of rhythm. James went down, but Carlos is good back, and we just didn't have that balance. And then you start getting you get behind the scoreboard a little bit, and you start doing things you're really not built to do.
Is it hard when you're in that situation when you don't have that big time playmaker to make?
We have enough playmakers not to let that happen to us. So no, we're gonna continue to go back to work and get back to get some momentum going.
Is it more concerning that this happened after the bye week when you had some time to self-scout?
We had Miles come back. We self-scouted. Yeah, it is. Like I said, I really felt we had a decent week of practice. Thought the attitudes were fantastic going into it. Obviously, it didn't start well, and then that second quarter just got us in trouble.
You don't go for two after the touchdown, and then you kick the onside kick. Why not go for the two if you're going to kick the onside kick?
Yeah, I should have kicked it deep. We kind of had the discussion on the sideline. I wanted to try it and work on some things and get another possession. All right. Thanks, guys.
Trevor,
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC, and the Jaguars Game Day radio broadcast is presented by ViStar Credit Union. Time now for the Baptist Health Locker Room Report. Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. We go to Seattle and welcome in head coach Urban Meyer. Coach, just a struggle today offensively to move the ball, some mistakes in the game, 12 penalties, 93 penalty yards, and just not a clean day overall for your team.
No, we took a step back after, we got a little momentum going after a win where we played a relatively clean game in London, and, Trevor played his best game over there, and guys are making plays for him, and then it seemed like we had drops, penalties on both sides. The positive was we held him to 60 yards offense in the second half, had 3 sacks, and our defense kept swinging and fighting. The negative is that was not us, and we got to get back. We took a step back. We can't take a step back.
How do you work on that kind of stuff? The 12 men on defense penalty and almost another one, and then the roughing the passer things, just the delay of game penalties. There was a lot of different things happening today.
Yeah, there's no other way other than to go back to work. As a staff, we have to do a better job, and as players, we got to do a better job. And I saw a good week of work, and that's what's really disappointed about that. But we got the chance, got a lot of football left, and want to just keep improving and building as a team.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us. No plays over 20 yards for the offense today. You talked a lot about trying to find a field stretcher on offense. Where do you turn to kind of get this offense going to score some points down the stretch here?
We execute better. I really believed our offense was, you would look from week 1 to week 6, made really very good strides against some really good teams. But we just don't have the big play hit right now. And whether that's play call, whether it's execution, it's a multitude of things. But it's hard to play football without a big play hit.
Geno Smith on the other side today, efficient, 20 of 24, 195 yards, a couple touchdowns. Lockett was his primary focus today, 12 catches, 142. What was it about their combo today and the defensive matchup you guys had?
Yeah, they have 2 excellent receivers, and it's hard to take away 2. And we had a lot of double on DK, and then at times tried to double. We actually doubled him one time, and he still got away on a long one. Lockett, excellent player. They do have a little vertical stretch that causes us some problems.
Next week, Buffalo Bills coming in. Safe travels. We'll talk to you next week, Coach.
Thank you.
Head coach Urban Meyer joining us here on Jaguars Postgame. We'll return. Fred Taylor back in just a few moments. We'll get to the highlights as well. Plenty to get to. Jaguars fall 31-7 to the Seattle Seahawks at Lumen Field in downtown Seattle in week number 8. And this is Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too, former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
How far should we go? When it comes to the health of children, we will stop at nothing, focusing on prevention as much as cures, working with community leaders, educators, policymakers to make every child's world a place for them to thrive, going to the nth degree and beyond. Nemours Children's Health, well beyond medicine. Join the journey at nemours.org/beyond.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living.
All right. You guys ready?
So can you just evaluate how this game went? And I know there was talk of a lot of defensive adjustments this week. How did you see that play out?
I know that we played pretty hard this week. We practiced pretty hard this week. And, there's some key adjustments that we missed during the game, and it just didn't work out for us. It just didn't go our way.
Was he underrated? Do you feel like he played better than expected? Mismatch at you? How did you feel like playing?
I feel like it was just like a lot of 50-50 balls, a lot of plays that, we could have made. And, he played great, honestly. But when we start rushing him, we knew he was going to start holding the ball as well. I think our rush got home. We just got to win those 50-50 matchups.
How big of a step back is this? Coach Meyer just said we were gaining momentum every week, and each week he felt like the team was getting a little bit better. How big of a step back is this?
I don't think it's too much of a step back. It's tiny, fixable things. It's things that we can work on, we can look at, and just fix. So I think that we're definitely going to take a step forward going into this week and just make sure that we just keep our head down and focus on the next opponent.
Concerning though that some of the mistakes you guys made today, like 12 guys on defense, almost on 2 snaps and jumping offside, all that stuff was some of the same stuff you did week 1.
You got to understand we just came off a bye week as well. We didn't have as much time together, and it's just a new schedule. So, just getting back into the groove of it all and figuring it out. So,
if you're coming off the bye week, shouldn't it be less confusing? You know what I mean? Because you've had the extra time.
You could say that, but we weren't together like the whole week, the week before that. So, I would just say we're just going to come back to practice and just work on it. That's all we can do. I don't think it did. I mean, for us on defense, it doesn't really affect us. I mean, they're really quiet on our side. We can really hear everything, so it didn't affect the defense. I don't know exactly for the offense.
All good? Cool. Thanks. I think Trevor will probably be next, then Josh Allen. Okay.
Shaquille Griffin had really good coverage. The DK went up and got it at the highest point for a 16-yard touchdown.
14 zip at that point. Jaguars can't get anything going the next drive. They actually went 8 plays and then turned it over on downs, going for it on 4th and 6. A 12-play drive for the Seahawks and a Myers field goal of 31 yards made it a 3-possession game at halftime. 17-0 the score at the halftime break. Seattle got the ball, went 3 and out. Jaguars couldn't do anything with it. They go and turn it over on downs. In fact, the ensuing drive, there was a double pass on this drive, and Seattle really turning it on. They finished the drive with a Smith to Metcalf touchdown.
Dropping again to throw. Fires left side. It ball's going to be caught. Touchdown. DK Metcalf in the left corner of the end zone, right at the pylon. He beat Shaquille Griffin for the score.
24-0 at that point. Jaguars offense went 3 and out. So did the Seattle offense. Jags started to move the ball, though. Seattle's playing off the ball a good bit. 10 plays, turnover on downs for the Jags. 8 plays and a punt. And then finally the Jaguars got on the board late in the fourth quarter. Lawrence found Agnew to avoid the shutout.
Trevor stepped up, fires toward the end zone, caught for the touchdown. Jamal Agnew caught it in the end zone, and the Jags are in the end zone for the first time today.
That made it 24-6, and you would think, okay, maybe the Jags will go for 2 to make it a 2-possession game, 16 points. Instead, they kicked the extra point, and it still was a 3-possession ball game at 17 points, 24-7. The ensuing kickoff is an onside kick. The Seahawks take it all the way back.
There it is, 2 hops, and the Seahawks run it back. Homer picks it up and is along the left sideline. He's going to score. He picked it up on a hop, and Travis Homer has run it back for a touchdown for Seattle.
31-7 the final score. That's how it sounded today. We're back with more Fred Taylor. He'll rejoin us in just a moment. We'll break this game down with a TIAA Bank stats check. Plenty more ahead. And it's Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35%.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't it. That wasn't what we planned to do. I feel like defensively we didn't come out and answer. You know what I mean? The main thing is turnovers, and I feel like we're constantly losing the turnover battle. So I think we got to do is steal a possession, give our offense a chance, and even if they do get the ball into the red zone, it's got to be 3. It can't be 7 at any point. So it's certain things we definitely clearly have to tighten up, but it's just us beating ourselves. You know what I mean? It's the same thing every week, and I think the cool thing is when we do put together a solid game, it's going to be something remarkable. It's just we ourselves have to stop shooting us and shooting ourselves in the foot. And I'm speaking from the player's perspective. You know what I mean? There's times when things may not be right, but we have to be the ones on the field to make things right. So, got to put it on us.
12 guys on the field on back-to-back snaps.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that happen?
In this league, that should never happen. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for that. There's no response. We have to have better communication coming on off the field. And obviously, it's a hectic environment. You know, there's D linemen that are locked in trying to get the play, and then there's guys running on. So it's got to be a communication thing where if you are running on the field, you have to call out. You got to go 1 for 1. You can't just run on the field and just say, hey, it's my turn to play. So it's a lot of things. You know what I mean? It's the timing of the substitutions. It's players not communicating when they come in. So it's a total thing, and it's such an easy thing to fix. You know what I mean? It's not like it's something hard. Like when you raise your hand when you're running in, and you know who you're supposed to grab. We're going from Jag personnel to nickel personnel. Whoever the nickel is, he's got to go run and grab the Sam. Like, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. We're just not doing it. So it's on us.
Coach Meyer mentioned this week that they were changing up the defense a little, putting in more zone plays. How do you feel like that worked this week?
We didn't execute at the end of the day, so it just didn't work on our part. I think as players, we just have to. We're put in certain situations. We have to answer. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, that's our job. That's what they pay us to do. So if you feel like you're in a funky situation or anything, like for example, there was a play. We were in man. It was a TFL I had, and I just told Ham. I said, Ham, it's a run. Pick a gap, I'm going to go, and we'll make the play. So it's times when we kind of have to use our superpowers and power up and just be players and take over the game. And that's the thing me and Josh were talking about. It's like if we got all this talent, we got all these super players, like we have to do it. You know what I mean? We got to go out there and make plays. So I'm always going to put that on the players' back. That's on us, and that's kind of what we're preaching right now in the locker room. We just got done talking about. So we'll get better, trust me, because this is humiliating. It's embarrassing, and it's not something that anybody wants to be a part of. You know what I mean? As far as like going out there and putting that product on the field. So we have to be better, and we'll get it right. I mean, we got 10 weeks, so it's simple fixes we have to make. We just have to do it, and the time is now.
You had that momentum, and Coach Meyer mentioned it every week, getting a little bit better. How big of a step back is this?
I mean, honestly, you guys saw the score. It's not what we wanted to put out there. It's not right. 7-31. I mean, it was 17-0 at half. So it's a lot of things we got to do better. And I can only speak from the defensive perspective. You know what I mean? The offense, you know what I mean? They do their own thing. So for us, we have to get threes instead of sevens. If we're on third down, we got to get that stop. If we do get them in second and long, we got to keep them there and not allow them to make a play or get a penalty or do something that bails them out. So it's a lot of stuff that we're self-inflicting on ourselves, making it harder. Like the drive where we had 12 players on the field, I mean, we were still battling, and I want to say they got a field goal out of that, even though it was kind of like back and forth if I remember correctly. But there's a lot of positives, but the negatives are always going to shine, especially if you lose the way we lost. So, no, we definitely got to fix a lot of things. This is on us.
When you have a bye week, should things be a little more crisp when you come off?
I would definitely think so, and that's it's the craziest thing. We had our best 2 weeks of practice. Like, honestly, I could truly say that, and the coaches will probably say the same thing. Like, everybody was locked in. Guys were communicating. The energy was there defensively. We're talking. We did really, really well. It's just when we got in the game, okay, there's going to be fire drills sometimes, but we have to be able to, weather the storm, and we just didn't do that today.
Stuff you didn't expect, Miles?
No. It was nothing we didn't expect. Everything they ran, we knew what they were going to run. We understood what was going on. The game plan was simple. We just watched them play on Monday and then, a week ago. So, yeah, they didn't do anything special. They just ran their offense, and we just didn't execute.
What was it like for you to come back and play in Seattle?
This definitely wasn't what I was expecting, but it was definitely cool. I haven't been here since high school, so it was like I had like little nostalgic feelings. We stayed in downtown Bellevue, so I went to high school there, and then this is my first Seahawks game. I've never been to a Seahawks game, so this is my first one, but yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. Yeah, thank you guys.
doing anything spectacular to do that. They're going to be in big trouble unless that turns around in a hurry.
Oh yeah, starting next week.
Josh Allen.
My favorite quarterback in the NFL right now, at least next to Tom Brady, young quarterback, is Josh Allen, and he's a dog, and he has some dogs to come in and play with him. So I mean, if you couldn't, throw down Geno Smith, Josh Allen he's gonna have a 400-yard field day, if they decide to go that route. But the defense has to certainly go back to the drawing board.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
We just talked to Miles, and it was just basically asking what happened. He said this was the 2 best weeks of practice and really prepared, and just something happened with the game.
We'll know once we watch film, man. I really, honestly, I really can't say nothing right now about it. We got to watch this film when we get back on the plane. It's going to be a long flight, so a lot of time to self-reflect and talk to guys just on there, talk to some of the coaches. So, but it's we just can't really, sucks.
When you have the progression getting better that you guys did before the bye, and then something like this happens, does this shape your confidence in the direction that things are going?
No. It was really one quarter of bad football. If you look at the stats, look at the numbers, we played great football. It was just that first quarter. You take that first quarter away, that team has 0 points. So we just have to do a better job and just starting out fast, man. Not even do a better job. We just have to know and put ourselves in situations before they really happen so we can make the plays. So guys just need, we just need to get back in that playbook and just get better individually.
Said this was humiliating and embarrassing. I mean, do you kind of feel the same way after what happened today?
I guess, it's definitely a bad loss. I feel like we have had 2 great practices, 2 weeks of good practices, and I feel like we was doing a heck of a job. Just to come out the game the way we did was depressing and embarrassing. But like I said, if you look at the rest of the game and you watch the game, not just look at the score, we played statistically really good. We got to the ball. The only thing we got to do better on is get takeaways. So if we get one of those, we win that game, I believe. So like I said, we have to go back in the playbook and correct ourselves. Look at each other individually and have ownership into the plays we missed. And I believe I missed a couple plays, but, once that play's over, you got to move on to the next one. And that's what we have to do a better job in. And and not even play because we didn't get whooped. It was penalties. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of penalties in the first quarter that put us, that had us, just setting us back even more. So doing a better job of not forcing those penalties. And, like I said, man, I believe we played great football in the second half. I feel like we came out. Now we just have to play 10 strong, like Coach Herb always preaches to us, play 10 strong. Offense, defense, special teams, we all have to have ownership in what we need to do. And I feel like once we are going to get back to work and we are going to fix those things and we are going to get back on our track. So, yeah.
You mentioned those penalties, and Miles was saying there were so many times where it was just almost shooting yourself in the foot with mistakes.
Yeah.
How do you fix that? In practice, or is it as simple as just executing?
Situation 2 of the penalties were on roughing the passer. A couple of the guys couldn't really roll off in time or just roll off in general. So, those calls are going to happen. It's the self-inflicted, injuries that we can control, that we have to do better on, and just be aware of the situation that we're in and just grow and learn from experience of today and to come back to work, get ready to go back Monday. I'm ready to watch this film. I'm ready to take responsibility on the plays that I missed and learn and grow with my teammates. And I believe we're going to do that. Like I said, man, if we play football like we played that second half defensively, we can win any game we go against. So, but we have to play 10 strong. Offense, special teams, defense, we all have to play. And once we get that, we'll be gone.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Fred Taylor. Final score, Seahawks 31, Jaguars 7. The Jags are now 1-6 on the season, and the Seahawks improved to 3-5. And they're hoping to kind of keep it and try to snip around 500 here and then get Russell Wilson back and maybe make a move towards a wild card. The Jaguars have a lot of issues that bubbled up to the surface again today. Let's get to the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting. I get a vote. Mike gets a vote. Fred Taylor, because he's Fred Taylor, gets a vote and a half to break any deadlocks that we might have. Mike, get us started.
All right, I will. I don't think this is the way you thought I was going to go here, but I'm going to go with Jamal Agnew for the player of the game. In addition to his typical duties of being a return guy, he had 4 kickoff returns today, 2 punt returns that he handled. He was the leading target for Trevor Lawrence with 12 targets, caught 6 of them for 38 yards, and the lone touchdown kept the Jaguars from being shut out in this football game. So, I felt like you said, Fred, they were kind of forcing the ball to Agnew a little bit today, but he responded with the score, and he handled the heavy workload, and it didn't seem to detract from his return duties today.
All right. There you go. Agnew is his vote. I'm going to go next, Fred. I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball today, and a name that you just said a few moments ago, Josh Allen. Had 2 sacks in the game today. The Jaguars have struggled to get home to the quarterback a lot this year. He had 2 of the 3 sacks today of Geno Smith. 6 tackles in the game for him, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, those 2 quarterback hits. And Allen now for the season with 4.5 sacks, and that, I think, is my vote today, Fred. What do you got for us?
I'm going to piggyback and echo that, JP, everything you said. I love to see when we have our first-round picks actually playing like first-rounders. And I guess I'll end it at that.
Fair enough. That's the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game, Josh Allen, Jaguars defensive end and outside linebacker. And if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. The Baptist Health Injury Report when we return. Final score in week number 8, Seahawks 31, Jaguars 7. And this is Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Hey, Jaguars fans, tired of being late to the game because you're still stuck in traffic or circling the block looking for a place to park? Next time, join thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smart way to get to the stadium is on the JTA Game Day Express. Express shuttles run from 5 convenient locations, including the newest location at FSCJ downtown. Tickets start at just $8 and are available exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class health care. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
As JTech continues to train tomorrow's technicians right here in Jacksonville and supply them throughout the Southeast, they wanted everyone to know that they are the biggest Jaguars fans around. JTech is super excited about this season. They are equally excited about the $6.8 million improvement of their facility and the program growth in auto, diesel, HVAC, marine, and RV programs. Come check them out on the south side of Jacksonville or visit online at jtech.org.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars at Houston, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Los Angeles. Taunt the other teams in Nashville, New York, and Boston. When you fly nonstop from Duval, on-airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. And economy lots are now open at just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com. Ready to take the next step toward the ultimate you. Dr. Patrick Basil, official plastic surgeon of the Jacksonville Jaguars, presents the Ultimate You Sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to win a cool sculpting treatment package valued at $4,500, plus a Jaguars performance training session. Receive your free customized treatment in a relaxed, modern, patient-centered environment. Learn more and enter the sweepstakes at jaguars.com/ultimateu or call 904-222-6262. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest-growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more. Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor, 31-7 the final. Seahawks win it. The Jags are now 0-4 all-time in Seattle. The combined score in those 4 games, Mike? Not good, Coach.
Give it to me.
141-39 in 4 losses all-time in Seattle. 24-15,
So
41-0, 45-17, and now 31-7.
35-10, basically, on average.
Yeah.
Right around there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's not ideal.
That's
Far
rounding
from it.
down for Seattle and rounding up for Jacksonville, actually. So it's a little worse than that.
It's how it's been every 8 years or so. You go out there and thought this was going to be a little bit different today, but it did not turn out that way at all. 24-0 game at one point. 31-7 the final. And time now for the Baptist Health Injury Report. Baptist Health changing healthcare for good. On top of that, the guy who had been playing the most consistent on offense, James Robinson, goes down with an ankle injury today. He didn't come back in the second half of the game, Fred, and he's your guy. He's your workhorse. He's one of the top 6-7 backs in the league in terms of yardage and average, and he was a guy you could turn around and put it in his belly and lean on him for 4 to 6 yards. But who knows what's going to happen moving ahead with this one.
Right, JP. I think if you're going to bring along a rookie quarterback, the best and easiest way to try to get him up to speed is to take the pressure off him by running the ball. And when you're top runner, when he's down, and hopefully he's not down too long, but when he's down, then typically the passing game is going to struggle unless Carlos Hyde can find a way to not miss too much of a beat. But James, he's an amazing talent, and certainly will be missed if he's out longer than a week or so. But hopefully he's not.
You hope they're reading the tea leaves a little bit, the way that game was going, that if, maybe let's not make it worse than it might be right now.
Right.
Let's get him home, check him out, Fred. I mean, it's hard to know because it was only 17-0. I say only 17-0. It may well have been, 47-0 at the half, the way this offense was firing today. But maybe that was part of the equation, And
Mike, they let me jump in really quick.
Yeah.
They said ankle. I don't know if it's an ankle. I mean, it seemed like he sort of had a bit of an overstride running towards that sideline. Then he had to try and stop abruptly.
Right.
I'm going to just guess and say it was a hamstring or some sort of muscle pull. I didn't see him twist anything, but I don't know. But I'm anxious to find out what exactly it is.
Well, look, nothing is good on the injury front for James Robinson, but initially in the game they talked about they thought it might be a foot. So those are the ones that, as a running
those
back,
are the tricky ones. Just like those, and those last a lot longer than just the ankle sprain.
Sure.
That's just a high ankle. So, fingers crossed for him.
No doubt. Don't want to have that happen again, especially off the bye. You got a couple defensive players back today.
After all the progress you guys have seen today.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of stuff we just got to go back and watch the game and really just be honest with ourselves and make some corrections and just move forward. I know I didn't play good enough today, and as an offense, we just weren't clicking. So a lot of things go into that. I think it's really just taking accountability for everyone's part and what went wrong. And, you know, for me, third and fourth down, I think I had 2 missed throws on third down and 1 on fourth down. So it's, you know, guys that are open and not giving them a catchable ball. Like, that's, you know, all on me. So those are 3 right there. And then just guys making plays when you need to make plays, and that's me on the third and fourth down. That's receivers on some catches. It's everybody. O-line, running backs, tight ends, you know, everybody. So we took a step back, I think, in making the plays when we needed to make them, as far as just, you know, you got good teams do that, good players do that. So, you know, that starts with me. So I think that's the main point where we start. And then I think just moving forward, just trying to keep it simple to where we just play and let our guys be the players that they are. And I think that's where we'll just all have to go back and watch it and see what we can do to get better. And obviously I don't think this depicts the team we are, how we played today. Just one of those days where just couldn't get anything going, and Seattle did a good job kind of running with that momentum from the very beginning, and never felt like we were flowing on offense. You know, I thought the defense actually played pretty well today. We didn't help them out at all, so got to play better for sure. Yeah, the angle. And me and Tavon talked about it. It's one of those just, you know, thought he was going to go flatter, something that we had talked a little bit about, and maybe we just need to, that's one thing, communication is so important in this game, and regardless of what happened, we got to be on the same page. Stuff like that can't happen whether or not it's the throw, the route, whatever. That just can't happen. You know, we're driving, and I think we were down by 7, and we're driving and on the 50-yard line and then get a turnover. Like that, you know, kills our defense and the momentum that we had. So stuff like that we got to fix. And like I said, but that's all of us. You know, it's me included, and we got to get better.
How much was the noise, the atmosphere, was it a factor at all? Would you have said this was a tough place to play?
Definitely a tough place to play. I don't think the issues today didn't have a ton to do with the noise. A little bit on a few of the play clocks getting low, maybe there, but overall, that's not really what I don't think really made a huge difference. It was just our execution wasn't great. But yeah, definitely a tough place to play, even towards the end of the game when the game was already kind of put away, and they're still, you know, we're going on a 2-minute drive and they're still roaring, and it's still hard to hear. So the fans did a good job.
Not having James when he went down kind of hamstring the offense a little bit.
I mean, obviously, when a great player like him goes down, it hurts. You know, you rely on guys like him to just, obviously, when the play's there, he's going to make it, but also make plays out of sometimes nothing being there. He's a guy that can do that. But I thought, you know, Carlos and Daria did a good job when they came in and had their opportunities. I thought they did a solid job for sure. It was just kind of everything else along with that. You know, obviously that didn't help, but there's just so many other things that were problems too.
Is it more concerning that this happened after a bye week? I mean, it's going to be concerning anyway. But.
I mean, yeah, it's just, I think it just goes to show if you don't come out and ready to play and you don't play well, this can happen to anybody any week. You know, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You just gotta play well, and we didn't. So I think that's it's not concerning, obviously, for me. It's not. I just, because I'm in that locker room, I'm, you know, with all those guys and see how hard we work and how we prepare. And I know probably from the outside looking in it might be, but it's not concerning. It's just we played like crap today, and that's going to happen every now and then. And but can't let this happen again for sure.
More. This is the most physical beating you've taken all year today, in terms of.
Are you asking? Or,
yeah.
The Cardinals was a pretty physical one too. I'd say that was probably first, but this was close. You know, probably second, and then same thing. You know, it kind of felt like some of those early games where you get behind and we're having to really air it out, and then that just lets those guys pass rush. It makes it really tough on the O-line when the D-line can just straight pass rush. They're not worried about the run. So that's something where we got to manage the game better, and we got to put drives together and get points, because when you don't and you give the other offense that many possessions and they start scoring, you know, defense can only hold up for so long. Then you get behind and you got to start throwing it way more than you're running, and that there goes your balanced offense, and it makes it tough. So that was kind of part of it today too, but we all got a part in that.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Yep.
Essentially beat, but it's the NFL, and it's not just cliche. It is actually any given Sunday. So, but guys got to go out there and show extreme effort. Be opportunistic, try and force those turnovers, which you don't account for in your preparation throughout the week. Those are all bonuses, but you have to cash those in and get scores off the turnovers, and eventually get W's in the win column. By any means necessary, the staff needs to get it together and find some trick plays or something at this point, because I doubt you're going to run off 10 in a row to make the playoffs. So, like I said earlier, Mike, throw the ball downfield. You threw the ball to Agnew 12 times today. He caught half of them.
Yep.
Throw a few of those down the field. He might catch half of them. Who knows? You put yourself in position to do something good. Just go play hard, man, and try and win these games.
Fred, great stuff as always. Unfortunate result today for the Jaguars, 31-7, and we've got 10 games remaining to try to get it right.
JP, I got beat up all weekend. The Gators got me depressed and heartache, and now I'm a Jag, so I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Very similar games.
You're
really.
okay with the Gators throwing it downfield, but not the Jag. Okay, I don't know what worked
Hey,
before halftime.
Hey. What I'm going to do after this is just walk to the kitchen, grab me some Pinot Noir or something, and kick back, and I'll be sleeping a couple hours, maybe 2 hours.
And you'll sleep just fine, I think.
I'm going to sleep like a baby.
I think you will. Fred, have a good week. We'll talk to you down the line here, and let's get on track next week against the Bills if we can.
I hope so, man. All right, guys. All right, Mike.
Fred.
Be good, guys.
Fred Taylor, pride of the Jaguars running back. That'll do it for Jaguars postgame. For those on our flagship station, 1010XL in Jacksonville, stick around. The Scoreboard Show is coming up next with NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks, and we'll take your calls for the next hour at 355-NFL1, 355-6351. The senior VP is Chad Johnson, VP of production Patrick Cavanaugh, executive producer Dave DeCandas, manager of radio is Joe Fortunato, Tony Smith and Linda Fortunato are our producers. Brent Reber and Trent Padilla normally produce video for Jaguars.com. They're in Seattle today. Sean Brown and Gabby Dalton with great work today. For Fred Taylor, Mike Dempsey, and our entire crew, this is JP Shadrick saying good evening. Final score for the final time, Seahawks 31, Jaguars 7 on the Jaguars Radio Network.
It's time for the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and NFL Network analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks are ready for you to sound off about today's game. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, and by TIAA Bank. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show starts right now.
Welcome into the Scoreboard Show. Final score from Lumen Field, Seattle. Seahawks 31, Jaguars 7. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks is coming up. We'll recap this one. We'll be here until 9 o'clock taking your calls at 904-355-NFL1, 355-6351. And, my friend, we have some things to discuss today.
Not a lot of good things.
No.
Unfortunately, JP. Even with the Jags, Josh Allen getting our Jaguar Radio Network Player of the Game, voting with the 2 sacks. We haven't had many of those games this year. It really came once the game was decided. I mean?
That's the hard part of this.
And Geno Smith, when it mattered, when the game was still in the balance, had all the time he needed to sit back, survey the field. I mean, they're running trick plays against the Jags, and he's completing everything in sight. And look, he's a competent thrower of the football when he's given time. It's when you rush him that he tends to make mistakes. But by the time the pressure came in the second half, they had such a big lead, he was smart enough just make sure he protected the football. Don't try to do anything crazy. So, you got to get to him early in the contest. They were able to balance things out early on. Alex Collins ran pretty well. Didn't see a whole lot of him as the game went on because he was banged up coming in, but they did just enough to balance things out. And really, the Jags could just do nothing offensively in this football game once James Robinson went out. Who knows what difference that might have made. He was averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Granted, it was only 4 carries, but he had a catch for 17 yards. He is their best playmaker right now. And, I mean, we've already seen DJ Chark go down. Travis Etienne never made it on the field for this team. If James Robinson's out for an extended period of time, I just don't know where the points are coming from this Jaguar offense.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. The defense today gave up 142 receiving yards to Tyler Lockett on 12 receptions. He was targeted 13 times and caught 12 of them. The yardage total is the 5th best in his career. He's been in the league since 2015. And a lot of those were just kind of short and, an out route for a first down, open by 5 yards, and running open a couple different times. And there you go with some of the coverage issues again today.
He's that guy, though. He opened the season with a 100-yard game. Then in week 2, he had 178 yards versus Tennessee. He will exploit, apparently the entire AFC South because he did it against the Colts, right? Titans, and Jaguars, and has yet to play the Texans. But he'll get an opportunity to do that as well. So, very rough.
NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks joining us from Los Angeles, California. Oh, my goodness. Bucky, what in the world today?
Hey, man, that is something that I definitely didn't see coming down the pipe. You think with a bye week, with time to come back rejuvenated, that the Jaguars would feel better, play better, and this beatdown, I didn't even have that on the radar.
And we asked Urban Meyer about it after the game. Penalties, 12 men on the field, delay of games, guys running on late. There was all that crept back into this thing coming off a bye week. And that kind of stuff just can't happen for a team that's in contention in the hunt, and certainly not for a team that doesn't have much room to spare for error here.
Yeah, and sometimes that happens when you have a young team. Like, they kind of forget everything, almost like a high school team when they get back together. They can't remember the snap count. They can't remember where they line up and all those other things. The moment gets big for them when you put crowds in, particularly a crowd that is rambunctious as the one that they have up in the Pacific Northwest. But just overall, it was just a very disjointed performance and one of the more disappointing performances that we've seen.
I don't know. I'm not going to give them the excuse that they're a young team. It's not just like Trevor Lawrence these rookies are making the mistakes.
Urban said that's over. It's not a young team. It's not a quarterback's young anymore. He's got to go play.
Even beyond, Trevor is young. Urban could say that. But, there are plenty of guys out there, Buck, who are not first or second-year players that are making these mistakes. That you just can't have it.
Look, you certainly can't have it. And age and inexperience is not to absolve those guys from blame. But when you do have a new program, sometimes you have some of these missteps where things are kind of maybe lost in translation in terms of who's on what team, who's in the game with this package. And if you're shuttling people in and out, sometimes guys get confused. I just think it's one of those deals where you have to go back to the drawing board. You have to remember who you are and what you're about. We can't skip steps when it comes to rebuilding the thing. And so you just have to make sure that you always dot the I's and cross the T's, and you leave no stone unturned when it comes to the preparation process.
We have a lot to talk about here, Bucky, but I think the main reason Jaguar fans were hopeful that they could contend in this game was Geno Smith playing quarterback instead of Russell Wilson. And when you pressure Geno, he makes mistakes, but they practically didn't pressure him at all when the game was still in the balance, and he opened the game completing his first 14 passes. If they're not going to get anybody near Geno Smith, and he can do that against them, they've got no prayer when they play a guy like Josh Allen or Matthew Stafford coming up.
Look, it's going to be very difficult. If you can't pressure the quarterback, it just makes it hard to play in this league, despite the level of corners that you may have in the back end. If you have A-level corners, they cannot hold up for 4 and 5 seconds in coverage without the pass rush. The pass rush, or lack thereof, has been one of the biggest issues that the Jaguars have had in recent years. The first was stopping the run. So you get better at defending the run, but now you have to be able to impact and affect the quarterback. And really, when I look at this team, there's only one guy who really can rush the pass, and that's Josh Allen. Everybody else are hit and miss, fly-by-night pass rushers that might get close to the quarterback every now and then, but there's no one that when you look at the depth chart outside of Josh Allen that you say, hey, we need to make sure we pay a little extra attention to this guy. And until you have 2 or 3 rushers that can command serious attention and create 10 or more sacks, you really don't have a pass rush. And so that's the issue that we have right now with the Jags.
We are off and running on the Scoreboard Show. We'll be here until 9 o'clock taking your calls at 904-355-NFL1. 904-355-6351, the number. Get in with Bucky Brooks, Mike Dempsey, JP Shadrick. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
It's a force that can't be contained. Propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect. When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it. You make power plays. You pick your team. At Farrah & Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7. Jacksonville.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $millions to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Jaguars fans, Corona Extra is giving you the chance to win big. Be one of 3 winners to receive a VIP game day experience complete with limo transportation, a Jacksonville staycation, and tickets to the Jaguars home game Sunday, November 28th. Enter for your chance to win at jaguars.com/corona. Must be 21 years of age or older. See full rules for details. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
And welcome back. It's the Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Bucky Brooks. We're recapping a 31-7 Jaguars loss to the Seattle Seahawks. The Jaguars fall to 1-6. Seahawks are 3-5. And we're here until 9 o'clock at 355 NFL1.
All right, let's get out to it. 355-6351 is the number if you want to hop on the Scoreboard Show here with Bucky Brooks. Sakib will bat leadoff today. Hello, Sakib.
Sakib, hello. Sakib, hello.
Hey guys. Hey, I'm sorry. I had you on mute. I apologize. Hey, I just want to know why the defense keep committing these penalties, these taunting penalties, and why is the coaching staff not addressing these penalties? Because it keeps happening. Maroon's staff did the same thing. Can you just tell me why it's not being addressed when we're down? Guys doing, they get 5 yards and the guys are celebrating. Like, something like that should be addressed immediately. These penalties that we're committing. And I just don't understand why that keeps happening to the Jaguars. Can you just fill me in, just tell me why that keeps happening to the Jaguars all the time for over the years?
Go ahead, Bucky.
Yeah, a lot of times you hear people say coaches you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. I think it has to be something that is talked about on the practice field, in meeting rooms, just a level of decorum, how you're supposed to act, and those things. Sometimes when you have defensive players, you get guys that are kind of edgy, and so you don't want to pull that back too far because it takes away from their games. But they can't hurt the team, And so there's one thing to play with energy and enthusiasm and all this other stuff. It's nothing to accumulate like a bunch of stupid penalties. And so they have to continue to work on that. It has to be something that's talked about because those penalties are backbreakers. And for a team that has a very slim margin for error, you cannot give the other team yards. You can't give them extra downs and opportunities like the Jaguars are giving them when they have these penalties.
Thank you, Sakib. I think everyone's frustrated by it, and it's been going on way too long.
And Fred talked about this in the post game about the celebrating and the when down 24-0, that kind of stuff. Fred, that kind of got to Fred a little bit. You could tell had that little conversation.
Yeah, how do you feel about that, Buck, when you're down, 3 scores and you get a sack and you're going nuts? Does that bother you? Is that you should let the players hype themselves up because you still want them to play hard, or should they, kind of head back to the defensive huddle and get ready for the next down?
Yeah, I think you got to have a little awareness. When you're down by 3 scores, you tend to get back to the huddle and kind of go to the next play. I think that's kind of status quo. Everyone kind of understands what that is. When you're victorious or when you're winning, yeah, you can have a little more juice and a little more energy. But when you're getting waxed, like the Jaguars were getting waxed for most of the game, yeah, it's not a real big time for celebrating. And I know some players will take umbrage at that, like, oh, that's kind of old school talk, get off my lawn. But I mean, when you're a team that has lost as many games as the Jaguars have lost the last 2 or 3 years, yeah, it's not a lot of celebration moments when you're losing. And so they need to take care of business and start winning before you can do all the other stuff that comes along with winning.
Would you have a zero-tolerance policy? Like, hey, the next, unsportsmanlike taunting type thing. It's one thing to have a late hit that's borderline. Maybe you get to the quarterback a half beat late and you're not intending to do it. But if you're getting up in somebody's face and you get a taunting penalty, what would you do as a coaching staff? I mean, I know you try to coach it out of them in practice, but if it happens, if it continues to happen, what if it's one of your better players? I mean, are you kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face if you take them out of the game, or what should you do?
No. You gotta nip that in the bud right away. It's one thing to get penalties that we call aggressive penalties where, hey, maybe you're half a beat late and you take a hit on the quarterback, or maybe you thump somebody over the middle of the field and they call it unnecessary roughness, or any of the myriad calls that they have now to kind of legislate some of the physicality out the game. But those are stupid penalties. The celebration penalties, the taunting penalties, those things are the things that you can control. So everyone knows where that line is. Just make sure you're always on the right side of the line. And if you do have those issues, then you either got to hit them in the pockets or you got to do something. There has to be some consequences that come with the action so you can deter the actions and behavior from happening between the lines.
All right, let's get back to the phones here at 355 NFL 1. John and Callahan, you're next up on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, John.
Hello, Mike, JP, and Bucky. One thing that struck me today is we don't have good enough receivers. It's like going up against college 5-star receivers against 3-star receivers. We're going up against cornerbacks that are 5 stars. Our cornerback is getting killed because of that. I feel like somehow we are back in the Dave and Gus Bradley series. I mean, because we have the money to buy them. And Bucky can tell you, Bucks talk and the bullshit walks.
Easy now, John. Easy. Whoa. He's not wrong.
John's on suspension for a week now.
He's not wrong, but yeah, I'm with you.
Slid that in there.
Yeah. Snuck one past the goalie on us, Buck.
Look, man, I think we all understand where we are when it comes to looking at the roster. We've had this conversation that there's not a number 1 receiver on the roster, and you can make the argument that there's really not a number 2 receiver per se. And so it's one of the situations where in the offseason it has to be addressed. And I believe they have to double down on the wide receiver position, meaning they have to spend big money on a free agent, a veteran free agent who can play, who is plug and play ready, that can come and make things happen as the anchor of the offense in the passing game. And then they have to double down and get a young guy in the draft, someone that you either spend a top pick. It might not have to be a first round, but a second round pick that you can put on the opposite side so that Trevor Lawrence has enough young playmakers to throw to. And so first year, you try and see what the quarterback has. The next year, you want to make sure that you build a team around the quarterback, give him the playmakers that'll help his game take a jump.
Buggy, what do you see from Laviska Shenault? Is he just not able to get open consistently against NFL defenses? Is he out of position because they're forced to play him outside right now? Should they be looking to manufacture touches? What would we do here if you were in charge?
I think he's a playmaker, so I think he needs to get touches. I think somewhere on that sheet, Bevel has to have 8 to 10 plays that he knows he can get Laviska Shenault the ball at any time. Jet sweeps, reverses, end arounds, bubble screens, quick option routes where he's the primary read on it. He can't make an impact unless he is touching the ball early and often. And so, to me, he is the guy that Urban was describing when they talked about the H-back player. I believe Shenault should be viewed as the H-back, and they should be treating him as such, where he does some of the Percy Harvin stuff that we saw back in the day at Florida.
We'll take our next time out. We'll come back. More of your calls. We're here until 9 o'clock tonight. 355-NFL-1. Keep it clean, please. 355-6351. 31-7 the final. The Seahawks over the Jaguars. And this is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Move day is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Move Day crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and moving efficiency, it's no wonder why Move Day is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Track your goods online and get updated play-by-plays throughout your move process. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, they're here to help you on moving day. Call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit MoveDayMovers.com.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk. Checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk. Checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Scoreboard Show continues. Seahawks over the Jags 31-7. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks from NFL Network, and your calls at 355-NFL-1. We are here until 9 o'clock.
They're fired up, so let's get out to it again. And Carl on the north side is next here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Carl.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
The 24/7 here on the north side. I know we beat the coaching to death, but what I cannot understand for the life of me is when we finally did score and there was less than 2 minutes to go and we decided to just kick the extra point, which would have obviously made it a two possession game. And then we kick it instead of going for two, make it 24-8. We onside kick and give them a touchdown. I don't understand. It's like we're giving up, but no, we're going to play. And then sometimes we go for fourth down when it seems reasonable, and then sometimes I don't understand our coaching, and I lose the faith. What's your comments? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Carl.
Appreciate that.
Bucky, let me just quickly, to me, like I'm all for fighting there. You got 2 minutes left. Try for the onside kick, right? Like it was like the coaching staff didn't know that they had to make that a 16-point game at that point. Is that overstating it, or what did you see?
Oh, no, I think that's as simple as and clear as possible. They obviously didn't understand the moment. They understand like how to add it up and do those things. Now, here's what I will say. Coach Meyer didn't coach a lot of close games at Ohio State, right? When you're the Ohio State Buckeyes and when you're Florida and those guys, you're blowing people out. It's rare that you win a game that in the fourth quarter, it's a one-score game where you really have to use management skills. And I think something that has come up repeatedly this season, clock management, game management, understanding time, score, situation. You make decisions based on those things and where we are at different points of the game. And it just appears that we don't have a great sense of how to play that part of the game. Now, most coaches are not great at that, but what they do is they have someone on staff who is responsible for the game management decisions, meaning somebody, maybe it's the running backs coach or the wide receiver coach that will advise the head coach on, hey, here's when we need to take our timeouts. Here's how we play this out. Someone who is also in charge of the 2 minute situation. Everyone talks about the chart. When do you go? When don't you go? Someone that takes you through all of those scenarios. So in the game, the coach doesn't necessarily have to think about it. Someone is reminding him, hey, coach, here's where we are. Here's the situation. Here's what we need to do or what we talked about doing in the meeting ahead of the game. Yeah, and so I wonder if that communication has been set up and orchestrated.
I remember Doug Marrone would say, he would think about that like mid-drive. Hey, if we score here, be ready. We're going to go for two,
There's
not
a chart
sure
for
yet.
that. There is literally a card. Like if you're in that end of game mode and you cut it to X with a touchdown, you should go for one or two based on what this number says right here. All right, it's an 18-point deficit. Pretty obvious. You go for two. I mean, that was mysterious. I have no problem with them going for the onside kick there and fighting it out. And because maybe even at the very least you get another possession for your offense. Try to get some seasoning for Trevor Lawrence. As it turned out, they got one anyway. But yeah, kind of inexplicable, Carl. We appreciate the call there. 355-6351. Let's head out to Palatka. Dwayne, you're next up here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Dwayne.
Yes, sir. Why would we go for it on every fourth down? I mean, I get when the game's on the line, but I mean, every fourth down except for at the very end of the game. I mean, you're trying to get Trevor killed. I don't know. And Agnew's not a number one wide receiver.
Well, none of them are, it appears. But
no.
Bucky, they only punted 4 times, but I felt like, my sense was they felt like they weren't stopping Seattle. And if they're going to give it back to them, they're just going to fall further behind.
Well, here's the first one. Before Bucky, I'm sorry to interrupt. So the first fourth down that they went for, they had a punt, they had a 3 and out. Trevor had thrown an interception. It's 14-0 at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Jags had the ball, and they had a little bit of a drive going. They had gotten a first down, a couple of first downs on the drive. They get into Seattle territory. They're kind of in no man's land. It's 3rd and 6, pass incomplete. Agnew stopped on the route, and the ball was thrown in front of him, that kind of on the side, on the flat there.
Yeah.
And then it was 4th and 6. Too far for a field goal try with Matthew Wright. Are you going to try to punt and pin him back? You need to get something going. So I kind of understood that one in that no man's land situation. The others is so far down, it's 3 scores. You got to go for it.
Yeah, no, I think the other ones you are so far down that you have to go for it. And a lot of times you hear we've heard coaches talk about the analytics and how the analytics play in that. Some coaches will meet with the analytics team Friday night or Saturday morning to kind of go over what they're thinking about the game, and they'll take kind of notes and have an outline in their mind on how they're going to call the game based on situations and circumstances that might arise. That said, I believe there is this trend in undercurrent where everyone is trying to go for 2 or everyone's trying to go for it on 4th down. And a lot of that is analytics driven. The issue that I have is a lot of times the analytics people are never held responsible for some of the decisions that are made. And so you just need to understand the probabilities, but also have a feel of the game and when you should go for it, when you shouldn't do it, when you're putting the defense in harm's way, when it's not as big of a deal if you go for it, just so you give your team the best chance to win.
Plenty of time to get in. 355-NFL-1, the number, 355-6351. We are here until 9 o'clock, rehashing this 31-7 Jaguars loss to the Seattle Seahawks. And this is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
It's a force that can't be contained, propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect. When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it. You make power plays. You pick your team. At Farrah & Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7. Jacksonville.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Show. Final score in Seattle today. Seahawks 31, Jaguars 7. Another game in the NFL in action. On Sunday Night Football, the Vikings lead the Cowboys 7-0, 9:20 to play in the first quarter. Kirk Cousins to Adam Thielen, 20-yard touchdown. And Dallas has the football right around midfield. We'll keep you posted on that one. And in the World Series, Game 5 in Atlanta, Adam Duvall hits a first-inning grand slam for the Braves. Braves 4, Astros nothing. Headed to the second inning, the Braves would win the World Series with a win tonight.
All right, let's get back out to the lines at 355-6351-355 NFL 1. Kyrie in Norfolk, Virginia. You're next up on the Scoreboard Show, Kyrie.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Good, man.
Great.
What's up?
Good. This was embarrassing. I'm not even going to lie. I'm a little embarrassed to be a Jaguars fan today, and I really hate to say that. I'm going to use Urban's words. There's no excuses for this team to have 2 weeks off and play a team that just played Monday night and come out looking like that. That's ridiculous. And I have this saying about the Jaguars, and I hope they change it one day. But for any team in the NFL, if there's anything you're struggling at, run defense. If you're struggling at running the ball or passing the ball or stopping the run or stopping the pass, if you have the Jaguars on your schedule, don't worry. You're going to figure out a way to get it done against this team. Every single time. It's just ridiculous. And to go back to one of the callers, they were saying that one of the taunting penalties, what are y'all hunting for? You're getting carved up by Geno Smith. Geno Smith is carving you up. What in the world are you taunting for? That's embarrassing. Offense. You're getting almost got shut out by the 31st ranked defense in the league. What is going on? This is ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little lost for words. There is no. I don't want to hear nothing about getting better, but they got to get it together. I'm pretty sure. I trust Trevor. He's going to turn it around. He's going to come back strong next week. But this was utterly embarrassing, and I'll just take y'all comments off the air.
Appreciate the call. By the way, the Geno Smith today had 20 completions in the game, tied for the 9th most in his career, tied for the 8th most in a start in his career.
And only 24 attempts.
That's right. I would guess that's probably his best completion percentage in his career in a day, Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, probably so. I get the caller's frustration. Because everyone is treating the Jaguars like a get-right game. Whatever is ailing you, the Jaguars come to town and everything is going to be okay. It's going to be right. Look, it's frustrating when you're a team that has kind of been mired in the muck for so long and you're trying to climb your way out. Urban can talk about being positive and working it out, and you do want to remain positive and optimistic that those things are going to turn around. It's just a matter of, can the players remain positive and optimistic and take the coaching and do those things? The fact that they were coming off a bye week, it's a little concerning that they didn't put together a great win. But the good thing about the NFL is next week there's another week. They're going to tee it up, and we'll see what happens. But they have to get better at this week of practice, just being on the details. I think if anything, it has to be about the details and making sure everyone knows exactly what they're doing at all times. And then they play with the kind of effort and toughness that you want to see.
Yeah, on the one hand, it is a good thing that they're teeing it up in 7 days. Another is that Josh Allen and the Bills are coming to town in 7 days. And he's a little bit better right now than Geno Smith is, so let's see how that works out. Kyrie, thank you for the call. Let's go up to Pittsburgh. Rob is checking in here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Rob.
Hello, Rob. Rob, you're on the
there?
air. Hello, Rob.
All right.
Hi, guys. How you guys doing?
Hey, man.
What's up?
How you doing?
Rob, you're on the air.
Hello?
You're live on the air.
Come on, Rob.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the game plan call with the dinks and dunks? Like, I think that ain't gonna get the job done. Like, eventually you gotta start taking shots down the field. And do you see the Jaguars making any trades before the trade deadline?
Thanks for the call.
Hello?
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for the call, Rob. We appreciate that. Yeah, Dinkin and Duncan, and then the trade stuff. I mean, so you got to kind of balance it, Bucky, right? You want to help develop your quarterback. You don't want bring a guy in that's on a 1-year deal and then have to redo everything in the offseason. If he's going to come in, he's got to help for multiple years. That's tough to get.
Yeah, it's tough to get. It has to be somebody young and dynamic that you can get that going to be around for a while. I don't see anybody that's like that. And I think right now it probably would be smart to not be heavily involved in that stuff. Just kind of sit and wait, see where you're picking, figure out where your picks are going to be around draft time, and kind of rebuild your roster that way with some free agents and those things. But making a midseason trade when you're 1-6 or 1-7, it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to do anything to really change or reverse the fortunes of the franchise.
Bucky, we were talking with Fred Taylor, and he thinks even if you don't have that guy, right, the true quote-unquote field stretcher, that he just feels like you've got to take some shots regardless. You've got to give Marvin Jones a chance or whomever that would happen to be. How do you feel about that?
No, look, I had a coach tell me a long time ago that great teams take 2 deep shots a quarter because you want to keep the defense back. And so by that premise, that's 8 deep shots a game. I don't know if they will ever get to the point where they're taking shots like that. But, yeah, you want to push the ball down the field to back people up. Keep the safeties in the parking lot so now you can do what you want to do, which is run the football. If you allow those guys to creep up, they'll creep up. Before you know it, they'll be at 6 yards, taking away everything that you want to do on the ground game. So you got to make sure that you push the ball down the field, loosen up the box, keep all those guys away from jumping the bubbles and the quicks and all that other stuff because they're fearful of the big play. It has to be something that is a part of your plan, and your quarterback has to be able to push it down the field too.
The longest play today for the Jaguars was 17 yards, and that was to James Robinson. Pass short left to Robinson, pushed out of bounds, 17 yards. The next one was 14 yards on a run, Robinson up the middle. So nothing at all down the field.
No, they had the one shot that would have been good for 25 yards or so to Marvin Jones, and he dropped it.
Dropped the ball.
Late in the game. Not that it would have changed the outcome of the game at that point, but you got to make plays. At that point, your quarterback's been under duress all day,
Yeah, it's one of the things that you want everyone to understand. Playmakers got to step their game up. You got to help the young quarterback. Right now, the quarterback is young, still trying to figure it out, still trying to figure out how to call the plays in the huddle, has these microphones and headsets in his thing, and so it's like the voices from heaven talking to him before he snaps. So everyone else has to alleviate the pressure on Trevor Lawrence. That means everyone has to take their game up a notch. They got to block a little longer. They have to make the plays that are there to be made. And right now, I'm not seeing that spark, that fire starter, that person that can make it happen to kind of get it going. And until the Jaguars find someone that can get it going, make a play, create some energy, build some buzz in the stadium, it's always going to be tough sledding.
All right, back to the lines we go. Closer to home this time. Dominique here in Jacksonville. Next up on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Dominique.
What's going on, Mike? How you doing, man?
We're okay. What's going on?
I was calling because, for me, I'm more so just disappointed in the players. Miles Jack was right in his press conference. It's really on the players. As much as I want to get mad at Urban and Joe and Shotty and all those guys, I actually can't. Specifically because Urban's not out there committing the same penalties back-to-back other than maybe the 12 men. Or when you look at the situation, Urban can't get a sack. You know what I mean? And then I look at it, too, when we listen to, other media members. They'll say, well, why you got to go back to fundamentals and everything like that? These are the reasons why. We don't have the guys, and that's just... I told the lady who answered the phone, it went from acceptance to just utter I don't believe anymore, in the players. You know what I mean? That's just really it.
Appreciate the call. Linda is her name, by the way. But, Bucky, that's Jimmy's and Joe's, right? I mean, at some point, they're out there doing the deal between the white lines.
Well, yeah, the Jimmy's and Joe's certainly matter, but he does have a point. When we talk about the fundamentals, the best way that you want to play competitive games when you don't have a roster that can necessarily compete with the heavyweights is you got to be good at the small things, the small tasks. And so fewer plays, more repetitions in practice, more attention to detail when it comes to blocking, tackling, ball security, effort in terms of running to the ball. Those 4 categories will give you a chance to close the gap and maybe win some of these games against the guys that aren't detailed. And then it's about, in the kicking game, finding ways to steal yards, points, and possessions. When you're a team that is struggling offensively like the Jags are struggling, then it has to be, hey, man, I need more from the defense. I need more from our special teams. We got to be more aggressive. We got to turn the ball over and do those things. I think for me, that is maybe the disappointing part. When you get to about week 7 or 8, you know what your team is. And what you should start doing is adjusting your play calls to fit the talent that you know that you have and what they do really, really well. And I still feel like this is year 1, but I still feel like every week they're kind of throwing stuff on the wall and figuring out what sticks. I don't know if that's a sustainable formula or recipe to winning games in the National Football League at this stage of everyone's career.
I think there's enough blame to go around. You want to blame the players? You want to blame the coaches, the front office? I mean, look, what are they getting out of this rookie class outside of Trevor Lawrence? Nothing. Nothing much positive, right? Where's Andre Sisco? Where is he?
Special team?
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, this is the first pick of round 3, a guy with superstar potential that we're told, kind of like maybe a late first, early second round value player if he doesn't tear his ACL at Syracuse, Buck, and he's healthy enough to play, but yet are they not developing him? Did they overdraft him, or it's mysterious to me.
Yeah, it is mysterious. Now, he can play. I will say this, he can play. Watching him in the preseason, he can play. He has great instincts and awareness and those things. Here's what can happen sometimes when you have front offices and head coaches and all these guys maybe not on the same page when it comes to 2 things, because there's 2 ways. It's player acquisition and player development. Player acquisition is, do you draft him? Do you get him from trades? Do you get him as free agents? Whatever you do to bring him into the program. But then once you get players in the program, how are you going to develop them? And coaches and the front office need to be on the same page when it comes to those things. Because if you're true to saying, hey, we're going to be a draft and develop team, well, the only way for your guy to become better is you got to play him. And you got to put him on the field, and you got to live with those mistakes. You can coach the effort and some of the techniques, but you need them on the field, and you need them playing hard so they understand what it looks like. So when their game does pop, they can have success, and the team can have success. But if you're not going to play them now, they're going to be the same person, same player next year, but just with a year of experience that really didn't give them any real experience.
We'll take our final timeout. We'll come back with some final calls. And the final score was 31-7. Seahawks over the Jaguars. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Shopping Publix with delivery and curbside pickup powered by Instacart makes getting your groceries more convenient than ever. It's basically the best thing since sliced bread, which you can order from the Publix bakery. You can also get fresh meats and cheeses from the deli, delicious produce, and Publix premium ice cream, all without having to leave your couch or car. Orders are available in as little as 2 hours. Prices vary from in-store. Fees, tips, and taxes may apply. Subject to terms and availability. Visit Publix.com/shop. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you tired of not seeing clearly? As the official eye care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Florida Eye Specialists offers the safest, most effective technology to regain control of your sight. With 9 locations across Northeast Florida, our dedicated doctors have provided premier eye care to the community for more than 20 years. Call 904-564-2020 or visit FloridaEyeSpecialists.com to book an appointment with Jacksonville's most trusted eye care providers today.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit VyStarCU.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
We're back, Scoreboard Show. We've got about 8 minutes. Let's get some final calls in, Mike.
All right, let's do it. We're going all the way up to Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Adam is next up on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Adam.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing fine.
Great.
What's up?
All right. I got to say, Urban Meyer, he's an embarrassment to our team. Guy looks like a fool. Our team is so out of sync. We're an embarrassment on the field. Like the penalties, people, the 12 men on the field, not getting play calls in, wasting timeouts. It's embarrassing. And this guy comes in with all this swagger. He knows what he's going to do. He's this big 2-time NFL champion, not NFL, but
NCAA,
college football champion.
It's 3.
And he's walking in here, and he throws away all the talent. He's picking up a bunch of 5th and 6th round picks because that's always done a lot for us. And he's just sitting on the sideline looking clueless. And it's an embarrassment as a Jaguars fan. I think to myself, why do I put myself through this every Sunday? Because I love those boys. I love those guys who put on those Jaguar uniforms, and I love all of our fans. But he's an embarrassment. We got nothing go on. What does he do well? Please tell me one thing Urban Meyer has done well.
All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Mike. Bucky?
Bucky, you go first, please.
Angry caller right there. I'll say this. I thought it would be a bit of a transition period for Coach Meyer going from college to the NFL because it's a very different game. And what he elected to do, he has a mix of college and pro coaches on his staff. And so everyone's kind of trying to figure this thing out at once. I think for him, he is obviously, look, his track record speaks for himself in terms of knowing how to win. But I think he needed some time to kind of see the landscape of the National Football League, how this stuff plays out, how do you deal with it or whatever. My hope is that it kind of clicks the last half of the season and that we begin to see the Jaguars play more competitive games and maybe even chalk up a couple dubs. Right now, it's frustrating, but we have to remember the Jaguars have only won once in the last decade. They've had a winning season. So there's a lot to turn things around. And so before they can start to win, they have to learn how not to lose. And right now they're losing because they really have a lot of self-inflicted things that are really killing them.
I think the biggest surprise for me is Urban Meyer's reputation is being so detail-oriented,
right.
and it's the mental little things and the repeated mistakes that keep killing this football team, and that to me is the biggest surprise. Adam, thank you for the call. We've got a couple more to get to here at 355-NFL1. BK, you're next on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, BK.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I know there's been a lot of discourse about the coaching, but I've been a season ticket holder for 11 years, and I think this is the worst that I've seen. I knew we all should have expected that the learning curve for Urban Meyer was going to be steep, but not only is it steep, it's so steep that I think he's fallen off, and I just hope that for the fans, ownership gets a sense of urgency, and not go through what we went through with Del Rio. I know he's got a big contract, but he's coaching 53 elite athletes in the world, and the difference in their talent is not a whole lot different from that of any other team. I know we don't have the best of the best, and I know we don't have wide receivers with world-class speed, but, teach them how to run better routes, how to create separation. And finally, I'm going to end my comments with a rhetorical question. Why aren't you guys asking Urban Meyer if he's interested in the USC job? Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I will say this. When you're a team that is talent deficient, you really have to excel in the management part of the game, and that comes from the coach. So when you look at the New England Patriots, for one, I don't think the New England Patriots have a lot of A-level talent on offense, yet they find a way to put themselves in positions to win games. And part of the way they do it is they win the situational football battle. Mm-hmm. You rarely see them get a lot of penalties. You see how they manage the clock at the end of games and how they steal possessions and steal time and do those things. So you have to be superb in those areas to win when you go to the gunfight with a butter knife. And so what Coach Meyer has to do is he has to really excel in that part of it to give the Jaguars a chance to win as they're presently constructed. And right now, I think maybe the biggest disappointment has been that he doesn't have that part of the game down. And so they can't win because they need that part of it to make up for some of the lack of talent that they have on the roster.
All right, final
well said,
word. Right. By the way, rhetorical questions don't demand answers. So
correct.
We'll ask James to have the final word here on the Scoreboard Show. Hello, James.
Hey, how are you? It's Jan in San Marco.
Oh, hey, Jan. What's up?
Yep. So here's a perspective, and then I'd like you to comment on it. When a real savvy NFL owner and general manager, and even an athletic director at a college level, hire a coach, their first question is, what's the culture? What's the culture this coach can bring to the program? Look no further than Kirby Smart at Georgia. And then you look at, the successful NFL teams, they all hired coaches that brought a cool culture. Look at Cliff Kingsbury at Phoenix. So my question to you is, in your opinion, what's the culture that Urban Meyer, who brought a great culture to the college game at Florida, at Ohio State, the programs he was at before, what's the kind of culture he is bringing, he has brought, and can continue to bring to the Jaguars?
Thanks for the call.
Yeah, I'll jump into this because I think this is interesting because you brought up Cliff Kingsbury. But, it took Cliff Kingsbury 2 years to kind of figure out.
He was terrible for 2 years.
Yeah, it took him that only in year 3 have the Arizona Cardinals popped. And one of the things that helped the Arizona Cardinals pop this year, a change in coaches. When you look at the coaches that they have on staff, they brought on Sean Jefferson and Brinson Buckner. Vance Joseph was a guy who used to be a head coach who was in charge of the defense. And so as Kingsbury was figuring out his issues, he also figured out that, hey, I need more NFL coaches. I need a higher level of pedigree on the sideline. I think it might get to a point where Urban Meyer looks around and says, I need more. Maybe I can get better. And if I get better coaches around me, then my football IQ and situational awareness and my development of the players will also improve.
I think going back to what I was saying a minute ago, I thought his culture was supposed to be one of everyone's detail-oriented. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He talked about – it was interesting. I really hung up on this one press conference he gave after a training camp practice when he said, I believe – and people say this is not the way it is in the NFL, but I believe the players have to play for the coach. Like that, because that's the way he had young men that looked up to like a godlike figure in Urban Meyer in college. And yes, they play for that coach. That coach holds every aspect of their lives in the palm of his hands. In the pros, man, these guys have their money. Some of it's guaranteed. You can say this, you can say that, but they're their own entity. They're playing for their teammates, I believe. But I don't think, Bucky, that most NFL locker rooms are rallying around the coach. And I don't know if that's a little naivete or if he just felt like, hey, I'm going to change the way things are done here. But that really struck me when he said that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I won't know until I talk to him if he misspoke or whatever. I will say culture has to be there, and it has to be a sense of a brotherhood where you have 3 elements in the locker room: commitment, accountability, and trust. People got to be committed to winning. You have to hold them accountable for their efforts and actions when it comes to the preparation part of it and the performance part of it. And if you get those first two things right, then you develop a trust between players and coaches and all of that other stuff. And so however that is created and connected and however you communicate with the players, those three things are essential. You have to be committed, you got to be accountable, and you have to be trustworthy. And so if you get that, then what you have is a team that plays for one another because they know that the people to the right and to the left are just as vested in the process as they are. And so sometimes it takes time to make sure that your locker room is populated with enough of those guys to get the ship headed in the right direction.
All right, Bucky, great stuff as always, and the Bills are coming in next week, so strap in and hang on.
Hey, man, look, on to another week. So I hope we can go 1-0 next week, but right now we took a tail kicking today, so I got to kind of lick my wounds.
That's right. I think we're all doing that right now. We'll talk to you this week, Bucky.
All right, man, for sure. You guys be good.
NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks joining us as always on the Scoreboard Show. We thank everyone for their calls today. All our Jaguars.com crew, the lady who answers the phones, Linda Fortunato.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Right. Joe Fortunato on the board tonight. Mike, it's been a fun show, just not the fun result today.
Understood. And, that's why we stretched Victory Week out for 2 weeks, JP, just in case it wasn't going to continue.
Hopefully it'll continue at some point very soon. Thanks to our entire crew. And, of course, Jaguars Today this week, 10 to 12 on 1010XL, Monday through Friday. We'll have Jaguars Happy Hour in the afternoon, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Pete Briscoe, Tony Boselli will get their reaction to this. I'm sure you can imagine what that might be tomorrow afternoon. For everyone involved, I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.